Solving one-step equations with addition or subtraction. Key questions: what is an inverse operation? And what is the one step to solve x plus 6 equals negative 8? And what is the one step to solve x minus 6 equals negative 8? Go ahead and pause the video and copy down the following. For solving one-step equations with addition or subtraction. There are two things to keep in mind. The first thing is we need to get the variable by itself. And we're going to refer to this as rescuing the variable. The second thing is we're going to use the inverse operation, which we're going to refer to as eliminating the enemy. Now for inverse operations, we could think of the inverse to addition as being subtraction. And the inverse for subtraction would then be addition. So here we're going to go ahead and solve the following equations. Go ahead and copy these down. Pause the video to do that. So the first equation, I'm going to go ahead and rescue the variable. We're going to eliminate the enemy. The enemy is the one that's always next to the variable, that's being added to or subtracted from the variable. So here I'm going to eliminate the 13 by using the inverse operation. The inverse of addition is subtraction. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 13. Now whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, we're going to do to the other side of the equal sign. So now I've rescued my x, rescued the variable, eliminated the enemy. Negative 20 minus 13, keep in mind if we slash and dash, this is negative 20 plus negative 13, which is negative 33. And I could check my answer because negative 33 plus 13, if I plugged it right back in here for x, that would give me negative 20. So it checks out. The next problem, again, I'm going to save the variable by eliminating the enemy. This time it's the 16 here. The inverse of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add 16 to both sides. I've rescued the variable. I've eliminated the enemy. Negative 9 plus 16 is positive 7. Now I can check my answer. Plug this in for x. So 7 minus 16, slash and dash, that would give me a negative 9. So my answer checks out. Go ahead and pause the video and try each of the following. First one, we're going to go ahead and rewrite this. I can rewrite it because of the commutative property. I can write it as x plus 9 equals 3. And now I'm going to go ahead and save the x by using the inverse operation. The inverse to addition is subtraction, so I'm going to subtract 9. Whatever I did to one side, I'll do the other side. I have x, I've eliminated the enemy. 3 minus 9, or 3 plus negative 9 after I slash and dash, is negative 6. My next problem, I'm going to save the x by eliminating the minus 3/4 by adding 3/4 to both sides of the equal sign. I saved the x, I've gotten rid of the 3/4. And now, in order to add these two fractions, I need a common denominator. So my common denominator is 8. So this stays negative 7/8. This one would become 6/8 because I multiplied the top and the bottom by 2. And negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. So my answer is negative 1/8. Go ahead and pause the video and try this following problem. It's a one-step equation. The temperature outside is negative 5.2 degrees Fahrenheit. This is 81.7 degrees Fahrenheit less than the temperature inside the house. What is the temperature inside the house? If we're going to set this up as a one-step equation, here's our temperature inside the house. That's the unknown. The temperature outside is negative 5.2 degrees, which is 81.7 81.7 degrees less than the temperature inside. So I'm going to subtract 81.7 degrees, and that would give me my negative 5.2. In order to rescue the variable, I'm going to add 81.7 to both sides. Eliminates this guy. These are different signs, so really I'm going to subtract. I'll put the larger absolute value on top. I'll subtract here. This is a 5. This is 6 and 7, so 76.5. The larger number is the positive number as far as absolute values, so I know my answer is going to be positive. So my answer is 76.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So looking back at our key questions, what's an inverse operation? The inverse to addition would be subtraction. The inverse to subtraction would be addition. The one step to solving this addition problem, we'd subtract 6. What's the one step to solve the subtraction problem? We would add 8. So we're always using the inverse operation.